Will there be a second family separation policy?
It's MSDNC, so I expect nothing less from you clowns. Even today, even 48 hours later, you couldn't wait.
Ladies and gentlemen, Don Jr. had enough. This video is brought to you by TatumStore.com. TatumStore.com. Make sure you get the merch link in the description section. Ladies and gentlemen, this shirt is blowing up. Really nice shirt. I think it has really good meaning to it. A lot of people can wear this and be proud. Everybody will know what you're talking about, and everybody will know you support Trump and support America if you have this shirt. Put in Fight24, get 24% off. Link is in the description section. Hit the like on this video. Like. Let's get into this. Ladies and gentlemen, ladies, at the RNC, look, no homo, bro. Donald Trump has some very, very handsome sons that look professional, masculine. You could tell that they're good men. They do well in America. Both have beautiful women. Everything that the left hates. Everything that Biden never had. And it makes me proud because I'm a father and I have two sons. And one day when I'm who I am, I would love for my sons to stand together in solidarity, dressed nice, dressed professional, standing to be an example of my legacy like both the Trump sons are. Now, these media personalities who are stupider than 15 left shoes on a 200-leg man decide they're going to come to the RNC after what has happened to Trump, after the rhetoric that they've been pushing for years, and they're going to try to ask the stupidest question on planet Earth, and Don Jr. had enough. Wrote a clip.
Change going to look like, Don? What practically your father as president, I think you would even say, was a divisive figure. What's it going to look like in the second term?
I don't think he was a divisive figure at all. I think the media created divisiveness around him. They lied about Russia collusion. They said he was a traitor. They went after him in every which way possible. If the media actually starts being an honest broker, talking about the things that he did, the prosperity he brought, the peace deals that he signed around the world, rather than the disaster that we're living right now, I think you'd do everyone in the country a big favor.
Where's the lie? Somebody find it. I'll give you $100 if you can find a lie. There is no lie told. I could do 1,000. Well, you want to run it up? No lie told. Don Jr. told the truth. Everybody in America knows that. But since the media didn't get the clip they wanted, they didn't get him acting a fool and getting upset and getting angry. They feel like they have to follow up with something even stupider. Donald Trump was divisive. No, you guys create the divisiveness. Not Donald Trump. Wrote a clip.
Separation's important to him. I covered the family separation crisis closely. Will we continue to see policies like separating 5,000 children deliberately from their parents?
You mean the Obama administration?
You know they didn't do that, sir.
I feel like slapping this dude myself. I almost slapped my phone. I was watching. I was like, oh, it's a phone. This fool said separation of children. Everybody under the sound of my voice knows that happened under Barack Obama's administration.
For about 2 weeks, the Border Patrol has refused to allow reporters and cameras into facilities where agents are housing hundreds of immigrant children. But today, we finally got a look.
The Border Patrol allowed only one video camera into holding centers in Nogales and in McAllen, Texas. It comes out as Border Patrol faces claims of bad conditions for the children. Not in your sides, Craig Smith was able to take his own tour of the Nogales complex, and he joins us live from Nogales.
Guy, a large group of reporters was allowed to come into this facility in Nogales, but under strict ground rules as a condition for entry. No cameras, at least no cameras we control directly, no sound recordings of any sort, and no questions. What we saw does track what we saw in pictures taken in secret days before. Kids in chain link holding areas using foil blankets. But now we have context and explanation. Agents say the foil blankets, for instance, reduce the chance of allergic reactions. They say the facility was not set up hastily to cope with a glut of immigrant children. They say it is a facility built about the year 2000 for adult detainees, converted when the need arose to house hundreds of children.
Kids in cages situation happened under Barack Obama's administration, and to the credit of Barack Obama and others, it wasn't just separating children just for the heck of it. It was because people were coming over here and they had to go to court and face penalty for what they've done. They can't take their kids with them to jail. You can't take your kids to your initial appearance. So they had a safe place for these children to stay while the parents had to do with the justice system. And then when they left, they were able to get their kids. Now, there were some people that had children that did not belong to them. They had no DNA match. they were able to test these kids' DNA and test the adult that they were with. They found out that a lot of people were coming over with kids that weren't theirs. And so for the safety of the children, so they didn't get trafficked or anything like that, they housed these children in a safe place away from people that could not verify if they were parents or not. Under Barack Obama's administration, Donald Trump continued that safe practice. But the fool in the media lies to make Trump a bad guy and act like Obama didn't do it.
Sure.
Will there be a second family separation policy?
It's MSDNC, so I expect nothing less from you clowns. Even today, even 48 hours later, you couldn't wait. You couldn't wait with your lies and with your nonsense. So just get out of here.
He wanted to say something else, but he was being diplomatic.
Even 48 hours later, you couldn't wait. You couldn't wait with your lies and with your nonsense. So just get out of here.
He said, get out of here before I put my foot in your... That's what he said. I read his mind. I can read his mind. I can read Eric and I can read Don Jr.'s mind. He wanted to say something else. He wanted to say what I want to say. But I don't want to say that in front of y'all because then y'all think I'm crazy. But it's embarrassing and it's shameful that they would take an opportunity to confront Trump's Jr. and Eric and try to lie about their dad. The same rhetoric that got him shot is the same rhetoric they're still pushing.
I just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country, and maybe there will be.
People need to start taking to the streets. This is a dictator.
You know, there needs to be unrest in the streets for as long as there's unrest in our lives.
Enemies of the state.
Show me where it says that protests are supposed to be polite and peaceful.
Do something about your dad's immigration practices, you feckless.
When they go low, we kick them.
How do you resist the temptation to run up and wring her neck?
The biggest terror threat in this country is white men, most of them radicalized up to the right.
I thought he should have punched him in the face. I said, even if you lost, he insulted your wife.
Yes.
He came down the escalator and called Mexicans rapists and murderers. He said, well, what do you think I should have done? I said, I think you should have punched him in the face and then gotten out of the race. You would have been a hero.
I'd like to punch him in the face. I said if we were in high school, I'd take him behind the gym and beat the hell out of him.
Punch some people in the face!
When was the last time an actor assassinated a president?
They're still going to have to go out and put a bullet in Donald Trump, and that's a fact.
Look as his character is stabbed to death.
Where is John Wilkes?
I have thought an awful lot about blowing up the White House.
A Missouri state senator is under investigation by the Secret Service after saying she hopes President Trump is assassinated.
I will go and take Trump out tonight.
And if you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd. And you push back on them. And you tell them they're not welcome anymore, anywhere.
And sadly, the domestic enemies to our voting system and our honoring our Constitution are right at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. They're not going to stop before Election Day in November, and they're not going to stop after Election Day. And that should be, everyone should take note of that on both levels, that this isn't, they're not going to let up, and they should not.
If you think we're rallying now, you ain't seen nothing yet.
What was your thoughts about the assassination attempt?
They missed.
They missed.
Do you he should have died. He's not good for this country, and he never will be. Wow. He's the worst person that could be ever in politics. He's not even a politician.
So you're disappointed that the shooter missed Donald Trump?
100%. 100%. No, well, nothing. He should have died. She doesn't like him as much as I do, but she's a little more sympathetic to people dying.
Do you think that the shooter was justified?
He did what he wanted to do.
Do you think it was justified? Like, do you think
in his eyes, I'm sure it was. But you know what? Since he missed, I can guarantee you there's going to be 100 people that are going to try to not miss.
Would you support that?
Yeah, 100%. He doesn't need to live. He doesn't need to be a president.
So, hold on.
100%. Yeah.
Why so much hatred for Donald Trump?
Because, for one, he's a sucker. He grabs people by the pussy. He grabs women by the pussy, right? All right, we're done. Have a good day.
We know there was no children separation. We know Donald Trump is not a racist. We know there's no such thing as good people on both sides. We know it's all bull shenanigans. And the media keeps pushing it. And Don Jr. had enough. When are you going to have enough? When is this nation going to have enough with the fake media? That's why people like myself was popular, Black Conservative Perspective, Candace Owens, a lot of other people are incredibly popular. And that's just the people who are the black conservatives that are popular. It's because the alternative media is the real media. We'll tell you the truth. We'll shoot it straight. We'll report on what's right. We'll tell you when people are lying to you. The media won't. They're bought and paid for, and they're idiots. Because either they're bought and paid for, or they're stupid enough to have a fake conversation with people, which we're sick of, and we're done with it. Anyway, like and subscribe to the channel. Get you one of these shirts. I'll see y'all on the next one. Let's get it.